We're about to take it back.
Okay.
Yes, guys, we are back with another episode of Talking Loud with a very special guest in the house, Mr. Goodbuds. Huge shout out. What's going on, Mr. Goodbuds?
What's up, man? What's up? Appreciate you, man, for having me on, man.
Of course, bro.
I like that intro, too, man. That's nice.
Appreciate that, man. Appreciate that. So, how's it, man?
I've been good, man. Can't complain, man. Trying to take these genetics to the next level.
It's solid. Sounds good. Well, I like to kick things off, get everyone sort of introduced to who you are. So just tell me a little bit about yourself and how you got into growing.
So you already know my name is Mr. Goodbuds. I'm based in Detroit. Me getting into growing has been a long journey. I started off watching a lot of other friends grow, and they trying to get me into growing. I went from a few different houses, from house to house, trying to get growing, and I wasn't able to ever do it because of a bunch of different problems. And eventually, I had seeds that I had actually ordered. I had them. They was actually a couple years old, and I had finally moved to this house I'm in now, and I just happened to have the seeds. And my man was like, "Dog, you should go ahead and drop something." And I'm like, "You know what?" I'm like, "I should go ahead and start it back up again." And that's when I started my original series with the AK-47. Which we started outside at first, and then and it was so horrible going outside, and it was so stressful to me. I just had to bring it inside, and the recording thing, like I had never planned to put it on YouTube, but I was already recording because I do that anyway. Like everything I do, I record it. I record everything that I'm doing. So one of my boys one day was like, "Why you don't just make YouTube videos?" And I'm like, "I could do that. Like I got the videos already." So my very first video, I literally took all those clips together, put them all together, and that was AK-47 episode 1.
Sweet. I remember that actually because I was like, I've been following you for a while now. So huge shout out.
Oh man,
Everyone put
appreciate
links
that,
to
man.
the shit down below.
That was old too. That was like 3
popping.
years ago.
Yeah, dude, like you've actually got like almost 24,000 subscribers on YouTube now. You smashed past like 4,000, 5,000 on Instagram. So you've got it popping, bro. You've got it popping.
Yeah, man. God is merciful, man. He's been blessing me. I've been trying to do what I can to keep it going. I'm trying to take it to the next level as always.
Yeah, most def. Now, another thing that I always ask guests on the show, right, is about their name. Every grower that I interview has like a different name. So I'm always intrigued to find out about their name. Like, tell me about Mr. Goodbuds. How did that come about?
Mr. Goodbuds was it was random as hell. I ain't gonna lie. I was literally I was at work. And I was sitting down with my boy, the same dude who told me that I should put it on YouTube. And this is the next day after that, and we was trying to figure out what should I name myself, and we went through a lot of stuff and like just trying to play off of different names and stuff. And he actually came up with it. He was like Mr. Goodbar, and then he was like Mr. Goodbuds, and I'm like, that's it right there. I like that. It just came from there, like Mr. Goodbuds.
I like that. The name is definitely catchy. I like your logo too.
Appreciate you.
With the red eyes, the buds with the red eyes. Yeah. I like that.
I always thought that was funny too, because like he high off himself basically.
Really? Oh shit. No, I definitely want to pick your brain on some of your growing techniques, right? And I see like you're a big fan of keeping things simple because I know you've got a lot going on in your daily life. Like it was already super hard to even get you on the show. Like, so huge respect for jumping on, fam. I appreciate that.
Oh, for sure, man. I appreciate you inviting me.
Yeah, of course, fam. But just like tell me a little bit about your indoor setup and like how many tents have you got running, what lights have you got running, what's going on in there?
So I got 3 tents. I got 3 tents that I've been running for the most part, most of my grow time. I got the 3x3, which is the most interchangeable series, which can be the auto booth, it could be the flower booth, it could be the breeder's booth I got going. It'd be a whole bunch of stuff.
Any booth.
Right, exactly. Anything with any booth. But my main grow that I'm more consistent with is the photo booth because I love the photos. So I got the 4x4. Oh, hold on, let me go back. The 3x3 right now is running the Mars Hydro FC 3000. So I actually put a small light in there, which has been really cool because it's been I've been learning the value of less is more. And in this attic, I'm actually in the attic, so it gets extremely hot up here, especially during the summer.
True.
And with the bigger lights, I was doing the bigger light. The bigger lights in the tent was working really good. But when I started going up too far, it was just inferno inside the tent all the times. And I actually learned like over time, the better you train the canopy flat, the light don't even have to be that strong. I was always worried about the penetration, but I'm learning more about training the canopy and making the plant fit the light better. So I've been getting good results with less light. And then the photo booth has it's about to have right now. It's a Mars Hydro FC 6500, which is huge as hell, it's ridiculous. And that's about to get downgraded to It's about to get downgraded to it's not a downgrade, it's the FCE 6500, but I'm not going to use all the bars because that's the one that got the detachable bar.
Yeah.
And so they already sent it out to me. So instead of putting that whole, even though 6500 watts isn't too much for the 4x4 because that's right around that, but it is huge as shit though. Like it's a huge light, and it's kind of a nightmare moving it up and down and shit like that inside that tent. And it's not really meant for that tent. They really made it for a 5x5, so I'm just stuffing shit inside of tiny places. And the veg booth is really toned down. It's just the TSW 2000 there, just running on like 150 watts, probably less than that.
Sweet.
And I veg out everything in there. Yeah, that's pretty much what the whole setup is.
Dope. I run quite a few Mars Hydro lights as well. I run the FC 6500, the SP 3000, and I like both
love
of them.
the SP 3000. It's been my favorite light so far.
Yeah, the SP is pretty sick and it fits like a 4x2 tent perfect. Like
yes,
perfect.
Man. Yeah.
Now, like aside from the lights themselves, like I saw you mentioned like less is more sometimes with the lights as well, right? So while always having a big light seems to be a cool thing, it may not always be necessary. Like plants could get away with smaller lights.
Exactly.
So can you wanna just like explain that a little bit more?
Yeah, so with a big thing about what I try to explain with people, a lot of people always ask me like, how many plants can you grow in the tent, and how much weed you'll get from it. I always explain to people that it doesn't really matter how many plants you have in the tent. It's all about how much light you have versus your plants. So I've learned I always try to go over that light, but it was really just a compensation for a very, very uneven canopy and the light penetration. And so I still do the 35 watts per square foot, but I just keep it right around that or maybe a little under that. And then to make up for which I had great success with my last grow, I trained the canopy a lot more even and make sure there's a lot more training and penetration done to the plants so that all that penetration, so you don't have to have too much light and too much heat, because with the extra light comes extra heat. And as long as you stay around that 35 watts per square foot, like you really don't need anything more than that. Like the light, as long as you got enough light for your space, you're gonna get the yield for that space as long as you do everything else right.
Yeah.
So that's what I've been trying to work on.
That's a really good point there, bro. Because like also to like the lights when you bring them down a bit, also you don't need to have that much power, right?
Exactly.
So when you have a lot
That's
of light,
another
it
thing.
raises like a lot of heat as well. So when you turn that bitch all the way up, like the temps are going to raise in your grow room. You'll find difficulty keeping those temps down.
Yeah,
that could lead to like foxtailing and shit.
That's exactly what you just said too. Like if you can always move the light up and down too. Like you don't have to have it don't have to be on blast. If you feel like it's not enough and it's not bright, you can bring it down a little bit. And this is another thing with the big ass lights in the tent. It's hard as hell to move them and like move them up and down and stuff. Like that was another thing that drove me crazy. So I'm like, having the 3,000 there right now, like it's so beautiful. I just reached back there, moved the light up. Like I haven't had it like that in a while, so that's
Yeah,
another thing.
yeah, and I know you're all about making things easy in the grow room, right?
Yeah, I got to, man. I got another
Yeah.
baby on the way right now, so it's about to be number 8.
Oh,
And
dope!
so I got,
Congrats, fam.
yeah, thank you, bro. So I got 2 babies right now. I got a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old, and I'm about to have another baby. So y'all can imagine how busy as
Yeah.
hell I be.
Yeah, so you guys see why it was so difficult to get Mr. Goodbuds on the show, right? Mad respect, bro.
Now, why be trying to
Now,
keep it simple?
yeah, keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah,
Now that brings me like back to environment, right? Environment is super important, especially
yeah,
when you're running some of these big lights that like can run the temps pretty high. So how do you
yeah.
deal with your environment? Do you run like a carbon filter? I know you mentioned it gets a little hot in the attic.
Now, my environment, I'm kind of the environment up here has been a nightmare for me. Um, which is how I come to a lot of my it's not that serious like attitude when it comes to the plants, because I kind of had to like give in to a lot of shit when it comes to environment. Like, one, there's no humidity up here at all, and
Yeah,
it is impossible. I'm telling you, it is impossible to keep the humidity sustained inside these tents up here, especially in the wintertime. In the summertime is okay. I could probably keep the humidity stays around 50-ish, 60-ish. But in the wintertime, it get down to like 20, and there's no humidifier. I actually I got like a humidifier I built for my for some mushrooms mycology I was doing, but like it's not ideal. I don't got no space up here. It's tiny as shit. So it's like that's another thing. Like it's tiny as hell, and I can't keep the humidity. So things like that I had to give up on. There's never
yeah,
humidity up here. The only humidity that I can maintain is in the drying room, where it's most important to me. Because if
yeah.
I don't, then like I said, the humidity, man. The AK-47, let me tell you, I dried that shit out. And I wasn't even up here. I was in the basement then, but it was a small ass room, and I had to move up here because of the size of the tent difference and all that shit. But being and want to have more than one tent, but the humidity was so low, and I was new then. I put a dehumidifier in the tent. I left the fans on. I hung it. I hung the plant in there, and let me tell you, that plant, them bitches dried in like 3 days. I came back. I came back like them bitches was desert. Then it was so dry. I'm like, oh shit, it was over. I destroyed them. Like it was no fixing that shit. And I'm like, maybe that was too much. So I tried to turn fans off. That wasn't enough. I had to actually get a humidifier, not a dehumidifier. So I was completely backwards. And there's no better up here. It's way worse. So I just keep I maintain the humidity in the closet, because this is an actual sealed closet that I got the dry room in.
Yeah.
And I can put a humidifier in there, and there's no vents, nothing for the humidity to escape out of there but the crack of the door. So it works in there. But in here, it's over.
Yeah.
I am able to maintain the heat to a certain extent. Like I said, in the summertime it gets pretty bad, and the AC works, but it only keeps these 2 tents cool. The 3x3 is always hot as fuck. It's like the AC doesn't reach there. So
Yeah.
that it's always at the mercy of the rest of the room, and it's hot as shit in there all the time. Where the 4x4 is be straight because it's right next to the air conditioner. So I be, man, the environment up here be a bitch, but after all this time, and I'll be happy to move and actually be able to control it really well. The plants still survive, but and they do adjust to the humidity and the weather and things like that. But it
Yeah.
would be nice to be able to actually have great environment up here, because it'd be all over the place.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. But I see that that's like a bit of a difficult thing that you have to like keep pushing through, right? And I guess it's a
yeah.
lot of trial and error, because like the temperature and humidity will just keep
Mm-hmm.
changing, and it wouldn't be the same for like you as opposed to like maybe me where I am, you know. So a lot
Right.
of trial and error, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then I stay in the hood too, so my house ain't even like greatly insulated. So like even in the wintertime, like
Yeah.
they be having the heat. The wife and kids, they be having the heat on blast because the house won't insulate. It won't stay hot. It won't
Yeah.
stay warm. But then I'm up in the attic. I be burning the fuck up. So I gotta open the windows all the way and shit, and letting all the winter air
Yeah.
in. It be, man, that shit be crazy, bro. Like, that shit is insane.
Yeah, those are things that you literally don't think about. Like,
Yeah.
those are difficult things you don't think about. Now, like, before we get into like training and all of that stuff, right? I always ask growers how they start off their seeds because everyone starts their seeds differently and there are a million different ways. So I'm just curious, how do you start your seeds?
Well, so I go straight in the soil with the seeds. I was a big. I mean, not I was. I am a big fan of Mr. Canucks, even though he don't post as much anymore. But I use it watch this shit. And like most of my growth style is based off his, and
Yeah,
so I do. I'm a firm believer, and I tried other ways, and the paper towel method, putting it in the cups, and that stuff works. But I just, like I said, keep it easy. I found putting it in the pot, and I almost always get 100% germination going straight into
yeah,
the pot, straight with the seeds. Hit it with like a shot of water, pinch it over, just like and not too deep either, like half an
yeah,
inch into that dirt. Put that
yeah,
seed, and then a little water. I like to make sure that the seed gets a saturation of water before I cover it up, and
yeah,
then after I cover it up, then I hit a nice little circle around the seed, just like maybe like a 3-inch circle circumference around that seed with some more water. And I'll have beautiful results with that.
nice, nice.
And
Do
there's
you
no
use
extra
like
stuff.
a solo cup over top to create like a
Oh yeah,
humidity dome?
yeah, I didn't say that. That's another thing. The humidity dome. I have literally not used humidity domes and got zero germination, and then used humidity domes and got 100% germination. Like the humidity domes make a world of difference for the seeds. It creates that 100% humidity inside that dome is like detrimental to the. I'm not. Like I said, I mean, I guess when you doing when you dipping in the cup and then you doing paper towel method, that's also 100% humidity and RH.
Yeah,
So
sure.
I would imagine it's always detrimental to the seed to have that 100% RH and keep that whole environment moist. Because
Yeah.
they love it. And I use anything for the domes, cups, Dixie cups, cut off. I just last girl I cut off the bottoms of water bottles. And anything works
Yeah.
for it.
Super creative. I like that. I like that.
Yeah,
No.
I gotta keep it cheap.
Yeah, I gotta do the same thing, bro. Like, I'm all about saving money. Now,
Mm-hmm.
I see you did like a really nice discussion episode on watering, right? And all of the basics,
Yeah,
because that's super important. Like, you actually mentioned how freaking important water is to
yeah,
plants. And like, they're made up of 85% water. Like, I
exactly.
didn't even know that. So, mad
Yeah,
respect. That's dope. Now, can you just
appreciate it.
explain why like water is so important for plants?
Water is gonna be water is basically the main way. The the main point of the plants feeding. I don't know how I'm trying to say it. I'm trying to sound scientific, but that's how they eat the most. Like that's
Yeah.
how they take up their nutrients. The water is how the nutrients break down. Well, my growing style. See, I can't speak on everybody's growing style because with the dry nutrients, the water is important for breaking down those nutrients because that helps the microbes get into those dry nutrients, start breaking that down. That moist, keeping the water moist always helps with that. And the
Yeah.
plant being made up of 85% of water or more, its whole life sustainability is based on it being able to drink water. But with the thin ice thing about it is that they don't like more water than what they need, and so that was one thing I learned too. And being I mean, I'm not even that experienced grower. I mean, it's only been like 3.5 years. Um, but in the beginning for me, and I noticed that a lot of people do when they first start growing is always trying to water those plants and give them water whenever you just want to see them grow. Like I go into the tent like they ain't growing yet. You want some water? Like that's how it was for me at first, and they be sick as fuck off that shit. So I literally like make sure that they go completely dry, and then I hit them with some water, and
Yeah.
that's I mean basically they go
Yeah.
they you can tell the difference when they don't get water. They pretty much almost turn to crisp, like they
Yeah.
lose their life force when they don't have no water.
Yeah. One thing that I've found myself is like when you don't water them for a while, you feel like the leaves are very, very soft. And if you like water them
Mm-hmm.
too much, they overwater them, the leaves almost become like fat and swollen with
Yeah,
water. Like you can feel it in the leaves.
yeah,
So it's something that I guess goes to what you're saying. Like
Yep.
plants are mostly made up of water, right?
Yep. That's something I always tell people, and they ask me how can you tell the difference between overwater and underwater, and it's exactly what you just said. When you underwater, the plants feel they have a different feeling to them, where they actually thin as hell, and they feel
Yeah,
like they weaken,
empty.
and
Yeah,
they empty. Versus the overwater when they drooping because they heavy because
yeah,
they didn't fill it up with so much water, and that's the difference right there.
yeah, definitely. Now, overwatering can be like an extremely common problem amongst
Yeah,
beginner growers, right? Like it can be super fatal as well. Like just
yeah.
run through with us. How do you water your plants? Like bottom
I
watering,
I,
regular?
I
How
like
is
the
it?
hand watering.
Yeah.
I've and now I know if y'all watch my videos, y'all see me. I be rushing. I be telling myself like, dog, stop rushing and stop like water slow. Like I like to water hand slow, like hand water slowly, and like
Yeah.
and you should let it. Like I like to let it fill up and then sink down, and I keep going a little bit at a time. That's how you should do it.
Yeah.
And that's my favorite method, and that helps with breaking down those nutrients and things like that, and not overwatering the plant and giving the plant too much water more than what it needs. But I know y'all see me just dump the whole thing. I dump the
I
whole
do
thing
that
in there and just be like,
too.
I'm done. Zip the tin up.
I do the same thing.
I don't
That
even
bitch
let
go
that
drink.
shit, I don't even let that shit sink in. I just close it like you good. But
Yeah.
I like the hand water, and I had a little pump I was using before, but in this setting, in this size, it's easier just to hand water. Maybe in a bigger setting, maybe future dispensary stuff. I may try and get into a watering system and stuff. But I like the hand water.
Yeah, same. I like the hand watering. It helps me get into with
Yeah,
my plants and stuff. But I also just like dump a bunch of
yeah.
water over top and like let that
Should
shit
be
drain out.
spilling out the side of the fabric faucet.
Yeah, literally. And then there's
Yeah,
water all in the tent. And you're like,
yeah,
ah.
yeah. I do that shit every day.
Now, and aside from like just watering, like, but related, there's a lot of people who do like the ice harvest technique. Like, I'm kind of jumping around here a bit. Have you ever done that?
You said ice harvest?
Yeah, like when you put like a bunch of ice before harvest at the roots of the plant by the stalk down near the base.
Ah, I never
Yeah,
heard of that before.
it's supposed to like boost trichome production and bring out purple colors and stuff.
I mean, it's stuff like that. Like that stuff is cool, but
Bro,
things like
science.
that is things like that make get hard for me to do. Like when I get to trying to do extra stuff like that, I be like, man, let me tell you, I be first of all, this last couple of months, I've had to get really, really, really diligent with not fucking over my plants by letting them dry too long, and not over letting them sit in the tent after I put them in 48 hours of darkness, and then it'd be a whole week later, and then my plant's still sitting there dry as fuck. I just did that to the photo booth in season 4. And I literally left it in there for like it was like 8 days, man, and them bitches was dry as shit. Like I be trying to be diligent and make myself do the normal
Dude.
shit. Like this shit that I have to do, like doing other stuff outside of that, I would love to try, but just
Yeah,
knowing me, I'm gonna fuck it up. Like
yeah.
I ain't gonna get to it.
Yeah, I did it once just to experiment. I didn't see any
Yeah.
huge difference or anything. I did notice like a shit ton of water on the floor the next day from all the melted ice.
Oh yeah.
That's about it.
Yeah. Hell yeah. See, all right, that'd be crazy as hell. Man,
Yeah,
I killed one of my mom plans. Like that's been my thing this year is like be more diligent on the stuff that I have to do. Like, I let one of my mom plants die. I had to reset it. I did get clones from it. I just happened to get clones from it, but I let it die because I didn't prune the roots like I should, and I
yeah,
prune the roots. I'm supposed to prune the roots every 6 months. So like that's been my thing lately. Has just been trying to master my regular craft. Like I feel like I haven't even mastered my own craft yet. So I'm trying to get that down pat, and then like I do like experiments though. I like watching stuff like that on
yeah,
telling.
yeah, definitely. It's just worth a try. Now, like you
Mm-hmm.
mentioned, pruning the roots. I don't hear many people speak about that. So just give me a little bit of info on that.
Well, I mean, pruning rules really not gonna be necessary unless you keep a mother plant.
Yeah,
Like
I
with the mother
figured.
plants, like they get root bound, and then they need to be, and then those prunes need to be, and I mean those roots need to be pruned. Now I keep like really small bonsai type moms, and I keep them in 2-gallon pots. So
Yeah.
they need to be. They last for about 6 months without being pruned, but it's really necessary because they don't get pruned, they'll die like fast as shit.
True.
And how I do it, I use a factory press that I could open up on the side. I just
Yeah.
pull it out and I just cut like probably like I want to say like 60% of the roots off. Like I leave a small root ball and I
Yeah.
cut like 60% off, and then I fill it up with half dirt and then have worm castings. They love worm castings
Yeah, they do.
for especially for pruning the roots. I don't know. I've done it without it and done it with worm castings, and they always bounce back way faster with worm castings for some reason.
Pretty interesting. Like I never really thought about pruning the roots like that, but now that I'm thinking about it, it makes a lot of sense. And I was actually gonna ask you, like, I saw that you had a plant that looked like it was in a, I don't know, like a 5 gallon or a 7 gallon, and I think it was like 1 year old, but it wasn't that like big. It was like
Yeah,
pretty short, like what you just mentioned.
yeah,
So
yeah,
was that one of the moms?
yep. That'd be a bonsai mine. Yep. So I keep all of them. I basically where I create them, I basically let them grow super tall, and then I just cut them at the bottom node, and then I let them grow from there. And then every time they grow tops, I cut those tops off, and the stem end up getting like huge, and it
Yeah.
turns into like a huge full grown plant, but it stays tiny. I just do that because of my limited amount of space, and like I want to keep all the good genetics that I have, but I only got one tent to
Yeah.
house them in, and I ended up finding that, and that's been working really well for me.
Yeah,
Like
that's
I
pretty
wouldn't be able
dope.
to keep a like how Canuck got a whole room with his mom plants in it, and he be having his mom in like 10-gallon pots. Like I would only be able to fit one of them in there. So yeah,
It's true. But that's pretty dope because like the stalk was literally like
I love how
big
they
like
look when they get like
knuckles.
that. Yeah,
Yeah, it was pretty cool. So I
yeah.
definitely I was like, yeah, I gotta ask Mr. Goodbuds about this. Like how?
Yeah, yeah, that's probably like my only experiment I ever done, just because I knew that I was gonna want to keep them, and they work really well too. Like I never have any issues. All the plants you ever see me grow, most 9 times out of 10, unless they came from seed, they came from one of them bonsai moms, and
Sweet.
they work really well.
Yeah, I'll definitely have to give that a go, bruv. Because like I never thought
Mhm.
of that, but keeping mother plants always seemed like such a stress to me. But now that
It is, man.
you brought that up, I'm like, yeah, you could do that. That's easy.
It is. It is stressful though. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah,
That's
it
why I've
is.
been
It is.
looking into. That's why I've been trying to have seeds and getting them breeding and stuff. Cause just because
Yeah.
of the whole OG thing, like when my mom plant dying, like I didn't think that I didn't know that was gonna happen. Like, and
Yeah.
then I had another plant. That's probably when you was talking about on ID, the one that was dying. And that one just died out of nowhere. It's only a year old.
Oh,
My OG plant lasted for 2 years, and
true.
I just let it die by accident. And when I took clones from it one day, thinking it was fine, the next
Yeah.
day it died. Like it just slumped
Wow.
over. It was dead the next day because it couldn't withstand it. So after I took the
Yeah.
clones off of it. And
Yeah.
so, like all the issues, I do have a lot of issues with the mod plans. Like they don't last forever. I mean, you can
Yeah.
always reset. And another thing I worry about is people. A lot of people be saying that the more times I take a clone, like every time I reset, the genetics gonna get weaker. I be worried about that shit too. I haven't seen it yet, but I mean, it makes sense. And eventually, I feel like I'm gonna need to have some seeds to replace with a fresh like OG, a fresh OG
Yeah.
plant.
Yeah, I've heard that as well. But like I've heard like I guess there are two strains of thought on it. One is that like a clone is a genetic copy, so there should be
Mm-hmm.
no degradation of the genetics. But
I would like it to
then
be like that.
there is always the potential that there
Right.
is the degradation of the genetics, right? So you guess you
Yeah.
just never know.
I'm
Now,
gonna find out though.
yeah, for sure. I think we should both try to find out.
Yeah.
We spoke a bit about like fabric pots, right? Are
Yeah.
fabric pots your preferred choice of pot?
Yes. Yes. The fairy price is the truth.
Yeah,
I First of all, fairy price make it really hard to overwater your plants.
yeah,
And the reason behind that, a lot of people don't know this, a lot of people do. But when you overwater your plants, it's not because there's too much water, it's the lack of oxygen. You basically cut off the oxygen from your roots, and they basically start to drown.
yeah,
That's why hydroponics work so well, because they have air stones that supplement that air. And
yeah,
one way that the fabric pots work really well with preventing overwatering is that air is almost always able to get into the sides of the pot. And I've I've given my plants a lot of fucking water, and I have overwatered them with fairy pots. It's possible, especially when they get root bound. Oh my god, that is really
Yeah.
irritating. But it makes it really hard to overwater. Now, when they start to get root bound, though, it's almost like in the fabric pots. I don't know if it's like that in the plastic pots because I don't usually use them, but when they get root bound in the fabric pots, it'd be like you can't under or overwater them. It's like they underwatered and then you water them and they overwater. And then they dry out and they underwater instantly like the next day.
Yeah.
And then like that should be at night. That's how I know they need to be transplanted when they just can't make up their mind whether they under or overwater.
Yeah.
And I swear I water them. They could be bone fucking dry. And they droopy. I know they need water. It's bone dry. I give them water, and then the next day they'll still be droopy, but the pots will be completely moist. And I'm like, what the fuck? And now it's overwater. Like, so it'd be a fine line. But as long as you're keeping the transplant going and keeping rooms in the roots, it'd be really good for overwatering.
Yeah, I agree. They're definitely really good for overwatering and good for like aeration. A lot of air gets in those root zone, like you said. One problem I found though is like transplanting out of them when the roots start to get like it can be a bit difficult. You might have to cut that bag and throw it away.
Yeah, that's exactly what I do. I just set it in there and cut it down. I went through a lot of methods trying to transplant out of fabric pots. That shit is hard. Yeah, and I do sometimes use smaller plastic pots. Like I do use 1 gallon plastic pots, and just because it's quick. It's quick when I go from solo cut to a 1 gallon. I could do a plastic pot for a 1 gallon. It'd be okay. But I never use a plastic pot bigger than that.
Yeah, same. I like small plastic pots. It's just easy to transplant out of. Yeah. Now, in one of your Q&A videos, you spoke about the fact that you don't like to reuse pots or medium, right? Now, can you just break down why?
I was going to at one point, and I did actually reuse fabric pots a lot. My reason for not using fabric pots and dirt is 2 different things. Because the fabric pots, I washed them. The reason I couldn't use the fabric pots is because it's hard as hell to get all the dead roots out of the fabric pot. Yeah. And I washed them really good, and it was hard as fuck. Like it was hard as fuck to wash it. I tried baking soda, apple cider vinegar, stuff like that. No way you can put that shit in your washing machine. Yeah. And you pretty much gotta do it on hand. And then it took me like hours trying to pick all the roots out, even though it's probably not even that important. But like it just was a nightmare, and I was just like, fuck it. The pots is cheap as hell. Like they only like I will pay. Like I always ask myself, like, am I willing to pay for not having to do this? Like and after I was done, I'm like, would I have paid $5 for a pot just not have done that? And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, I got $5 for that. So that's my reason for not reusing the fabric pots. And then the dirt, not using the dirt was for pest reasons. I tried reusing some dirt once, and I had left the dirt sitting. I had kept it, poured it in a little container, and I had kept it for a minute, like getting ready to use it again. When I got to use it again, when I was about to use it, there's a whole bunch of new pests in there. And like it was like roly polies and shit. Like I'm like, what the fuck? How did a roly poly get in here? And it was closed too. So like that shit was weird as fuck. I don't know what it was. It was all type of like, and you probably I see like the little white mites in the dirt all the time. But like it seemed like they just multiplied a million times a million. I could just see them all over the place, and it was fungus nests all in it. And I was just like, hell no! I throw that shit out. Like, there's things you can do to kill the person. But like I said, when you pay $5 or would you pay like $10 not to have to go through all that? Yeah, stuff like that. It's just a lot of work, unnecessary work for me.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like in those situations where I could like just pay for the convenience, I would pay for that convenience because like it's not worth my time and stress. And like I'm the kind of person that I'll go to clean this and then something else would happen and like I'll cut my finger or like I'll just be pissed off.
Like, all right, you know. Yeah, so and I was 100%. Like, it was weird as hell. I'm like, man. It was like it grew new pests. I'm like, how the hell? I ain't never even seen none of this shit in here. Like it was all. I'm like, nah, man, we ain't doing this.
Yeah, def. Now, like one important thing for all indoor growers is like feeding and alongside feeding comes learning about the NPK ratios. And I saw you did a sweet video on your channel on NPK ratios. So for
Yeah.
a lot of beginner growers who may not know what NPK really means, can you just break it down for us?
Oh yeah. So NPK, which is really, this is probably one of the most helpful things for growing that was helpful for me. And I'll go through this whole explanation because this is the whole thing too. The NPK, nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. Those are all the different symbols, and those three nutrients are basically the main three nutrients that your plants need. So the nitrogen is what it needs in veg, phosphorus is what it needs in flower, and then potassium it needs always. I learned potassium is like detrimental to a plant. Like when you give it, I be supplementing potassium to my plants, and they grow really fucking strong. And like potassium helps with cell wall structure and strong stem structure,
True.
and like immune health, like help
Yeah.
against diseases and things that they can contract. But learning what those things was and when they're needed made my life a lot easier for nutrients and feeding in general, because I started off using Roots Organic or organic liquid nutrient lineup. And before I knew about NPK, I was using this lineup. Now, one thing about mixing nutrients, that shit is a headache. That was one of my main reasons for switching to dry nutrients, is because it take 2-3 times longer to mix the nutrients than it does for me to actually give them to the plants. And so the whole watering process is just me measuring nutrients and stirring and pHing. Oh my fucking god, dog. pHing with nutrients in your water, especially organic nutrients. I don't even think you're supposed to be doing that shit. I don't think that shit even works right, because nigga, that shit, I had to use so much pH up. Like I was using so much pH up that it wasn't even changing. And I was literally spending 20 minutes trying to pH up. And that shit was ridiculous as fuck. And another thing was the amount of nutrients in those nutrients that I was using were minuscule as hell. And that's why you had to use this whole lineup, because all of it together equals enough nutrients that enough for your plant to sustain itself. But if you're not using all 15 at a lineup, literally, if you look, I don't want to get up because I don't want to fuck the camera up, but if I was a guy, because I still got some over there, them Roots Organic, literally it'd be like 1 nitrogen, 0.5 phosphorus, like shit like that. That ain't shit. Like you literally, it's no wonder that you have to use all that together, because they not barely putting nothing in those nutrients, and they do that shit on purpose. Like that's a sales thing.
Marketing.
Like that's nutrient companies trying to get money, and they advertise it for cannabis growers. Now, once I learned what NPK was, I was able to, first of all, I was already watching Canuck and looking like that. He growing the dry nutrients. That shit looks so easy. Like he don't got to do shit but give him some dry nutrients. And then I looked up what NPK was, and not just dry nutrients, but you can go and look at other nutrients that's not made for cannabis, and they got plenty of nutrients. Like whatever you need, they got 444. Like it's plenty of shit. It's plenty of companies that make 444 just for plants. Like that's all purpose. That's all purpose fertilizer, liquid or dry. That's all purpose for everything pretty much.
Yeah.
And
facts.
And it wasn't no fucking Roots Organic didn't have not one thing that had 444. All of it was like 2, 1, and like shit like that. And I had to add shit to it. So like I found Down to Earth because I couldn't get Gaia Green. And I found Down to Earth, and I'm like, cool, it looked just like Gaia Green. And they got 404, 484. Which that shit, man, the first time I used it, plants was I especially in flower, feeding twice in flower. Instead of me having to feed them damn plants every day with them liquid nutrients and go through all that time, I was done. After that, I'm like, oh, this is me. This is the life for me. This is the feeding regimen for me. That's all she wrote.
Yes, sir. I like that because and you raised 2 good points there. One is that NPK ratios, once you get familiar with it, it doesn't really matter what sort of brand name nutrients you use. Once the plant gets the essential nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, it'll grow, right?
Exactly.
And you raised another good point. And I'm having a stoner moment because I can't remember what it is right now. But but yeah, basically. So what I was gonna say is that now that you use the oh no, this is what I was gonna say. I was gonna say that a lot of these nutrient companies, they will like really break it up into like 16 different bottles of shit
Man,
that you
that
need to
shit
use.
crazy.
But like in reality, you don't need these 16 bottles of shit to
Nah,
grow your plant, bro.
that's
Like
just
it's
such a
crazy.
gimmick.
It's like a money grab.
Yeah, and every cannabis nutrient company is like that too. Like no matter who you pick, they
Yeah.
got like 15 nutrients that you could choose from. They may have
Yeah.
oh, you can get by with this, but you can't though, because you can't with the Roots Organic. I haven't tried anything else, but you cannot get by with the basics of the Roots Organic. Your plant, that's just not enough nutrient, and I just don't see how it's not possible. Like I
Yeah.
haven't, I didn't, I had the original, I was using the main part of it at first, but then I ended up getting everything else just because I just felt like I was buying into this shit. I was buying
Yeah.
into their money grab, so I got it all. But after learning what I know, like there's no way that was enough.
Yeah, dude, I bought into like countless money grabs from like Fox Farm and shit. And like now I
Mm-hmm.
know
Yeah.
better, and like can't catch me with it now because like you just got a little older and wiser, and
Mm-hmm.
you know.
You go to Home Depot and
Yeah,
get whatever you need, nutrient,
exactly.
everything that say what you need. It's gonna work.
Yeah. So guys, basically familiarize yourself with NPK ratios and don't get
Mm-hmm.
caught.
Yeah.
Now you
Yeah.
mentioned that you feed Roots Organic. Is that what you said you use? No, it's
Now I use down to earth.
down to earth. Yeah, sorry.
DTE.
And that's similar to Gaia Green. I've never really used that. So
Hmm.
how has that been working for you?
Oh, that's godsend. And the down to earth, even though it smelled like ass, though, it took me a long time to get used to the smell of it. And I did actually get I got an air purifier and stuff like that to kind of minimize the smell because it do stink. Like that's the only thing though. Like every time you water it, it stink. Like the first few times, like when you first feed it, like the first few times they water, it do smell like straight up fertilizer. Like, but
Yeah.
I mean, besides that, I love it, man. Like it's so easy. It's so easy just to give your plants some powder every every 30 days. And I mean it just makes things so much easier for me, man. Like I said, like when you in bed, they only need nutrients twice. Every 30 days in I mean flour, every 30
Yeah.
days in
Yeah.
flour is only twice. That's 4 weeks. The first I feed it the first time, right when I flip. 4 weeks later, week 4 or 5, I feed them again. 4 weeks later, they're done. And so
Nice.
that's completely easy. They got the supplements, the other supplements I need, like the Dolomite Lime, the bone meal that I supplement with 16 phosphorus in it, which is like what I use for my I use that for my flower boost. Man, they got
Yeah. Yeah.
everything you need. They got this thing called lagabinite or something like that. They got like a stupid amount of phosphorus potassium in it, which
Yeah.
is hard to find. It's hard to find nutrients with potassium, with high amounts of potassium for some reason. I don't know why. But I use the raw potassium anyway. But the lagbanite or however you pronounce that, it has a lot of potassium in it too. And that's hard to
Cool.
find in nutrients.
Well, that's good because I've been looking for alternatives to like Gaia Green. You know, Gaia Green can be
Mm-hmm.
a little bit pricey, and like everybody uses it, so it's
That
always
shit
nice just to
expensive.
find alternatives. Yeah, and like I'm glad that you just mentioned that. So that's
Mm-hmm.
definitely something I'll look out for.
I had to try it myself. I found it. I was looking for Gaia Green, but at the time they didn't sell it here. And they
Yeah.
do now. I heard they do now, but it's expensive as hell. It costs way more than down to earth. I found
Yeah.
down to earth, gave it a shot. Worked.
Yeah, I could see that. And I saw on your channel Recharge is something that you use quite a lot as well, right? Can
Ooh,
you like
I
explain that
love
to me why
recharge,
you love it so much? Like, and
man.
that's the one of Dude Grows
Yeah,
products, is it? Shout
yeah. The
out
dude, girl.
Dude Grows. Yeah, huge
Yeah,
shout
that's
out.
my man Scotty. Even though he ain't hit me
Yeah,
up
shout
yet,
out Scotty. Yeah, he hit me up
I be
here.
using this
But
shit to death.
soon we will, soon we will. Mad respect, Scotty. Mad respect.
Yeah. Appreciate that shit. Cause I love man the recharge, man. Scotty dog, that recharge, that shit pretty much was that made my growth complete. Like that was the missing key to my entire growth was the recharge. And at least how I found recharge. So when you're doing dry nutrients, it's all when you're doing any nutrients, especially in dirt and soil type mediums and stuff like that. It's always really important to have a microbe to break down the soil, especially if you're doing organic. Now, I was using Organism XL. Yeah, Organism. I be having to look over at my wall over here, but Organism XL from Roots Organic, which is the exact same thing. Now, I ain't gonna sit here and act like Recharge is the only thing that does it. Recharge is just really convenient and it works really well. And the one thing that I liked about it, that I hated about the Roots Organic, and I haven't tried anybody else's micro booster, but the Roots Organic turned to really hard clumps. Like after a month, it gets hard as shit. Yeah. And that shit be like, and it be hard as hell. And it's dirty as fuck. Like it's black as hell. So when you breaking that stuff down, even the recharge, it's like black soot. Like it gets everywhere. And it's hard. You don't want to touch it. And I was trying to break that stuff down. So I found recharge and recharge never clumps. Like I don't know how they do that and what's the difference between the two, but it never clumps ever. It always remains a powder. I've even had bags of recharge that I broke the zipper on, which y'all need, Scotty, you need to work on that shit, dog, because I break almost every Ziploc seal on my recharge bags. I always gotta keep them in a Ziploc bag. But for some reason, it just doesn't clump. Even when I've broken the seal and then left the bag open, like it doesn't clump at all. And man, when you give your plant recharge, it balances the pH. Yeah. Like it literally keeps your pH right, because it changes pH depending on what nutrient. It's all organic. So whatever nutrient your micro is trying to feed to your plant, it regulates to that pH, to whatever pH is best. 2, it say on the bag that you know that your plants will be stronger in 48 hours. Nigga, that shit is not a lie. Your plants, I give recharge to my plants, they always bounce back. I give recharge to my plants for everything now. Like when they anything look like wrong with them, I'm like, you need some recharge? I'm like, here you go, baby, some recharge. Like, you know, because they, no matter what it be, they come back the next day, unless it's overwatering, because that's not gonna work. But like deficiencies, not like a nitrogen deficiency, or like my plants kind of drew from something like that. Hit it with the recharge, even if you don't hit it with the nutrient. Hit it with the recharge, and it will break down some shit in that soil and feed it to you. Like your plants love it, and they every time they wake up, then I wake up the next day, and the leaves is up in the sky, like happy, like beautiful. They loving life again, like no matter the condition they was in. And I'm like, this shit is the truth. Like I love recharge. That shit crazy.
Bro, if you guys don't know, like check it out now. Recharge is the shit.
Yeah, man. That shit is the shit, man.
From the horse's mouth.
Yeah, I haven't tried anything else. I'm the only 2 I tried. So, man, Scotty, you need to give me some type of lifetime supply on that shit or something, dog. Like, I need to hook me up, bro.
Yeah, Scotty, send some for us, man. What's up, bro? Send it out, man.
Let me get a big bag or something.
Nice. Now, let me switch gears just a little bit, right? I saw you had an autoflower grower that you ran into some foxtailing problems with, right? And we spoke about light and the intensity early on in the video. Now, is that something that played into your issues with foxtailing here?
Yes, the light is always the heat. Like the light, and most of the time it's the heat emitting from the light. Now, it's not the actual light itself. Because when I have problems with the actual light, it usually like bleaches the bud, but when it's not too hot. But when it be hot, that's when I always get foxtailing. I have a major issue with that up here. Now, one thing that I noticed with my last grow, which I've been getting better with, what I was just talking about with the drying area, is that I maintain the humidity in the drying area better, so I had a better dry. Now, my last grow foxtail, and it started foxtailing, and I always thought, most of the time, I always felt like it was going to be kind of fluffy. Like when you get foxtail, the bud end up drying kind of like, it kind of destroys the integrity of the bud inside. So it kind of like it's kind of like not a bud. It's kind of just like a bunch of pieces of bud sitting together. And it kind of always make the bud kind of crunchy. But my last grow, even though some of the buds foxtail, it dried really well and it actually tightened back up. So that's something that I'm experimenting more now with the drying, because the drying kind of, when you dry it right, this is my first time ever drying like that, and like it was the best dry. It was the slowest. I dried it for 13 days at 55 humidity, and every day I checked it, and I checked the bud, touched it, it was still moist. I was keeping up on it because I told you I've been fucking up and letting my shit dry out too much. So I was on it. I was on it last one, and it
Yeah.
went real slow, and it was a beautiful dry, and the dry tightened up the foxtailing, and I didn't even notice it was foxtailed afterwards. So I had a problem with foxtailing all the time, and it's usually caused by the heat. But but I may have been wrong about what it does to the weed, man, because once I got that good dry, it wasn't an issue. Before, when I wasn't having that long good dry, it was an issue, and the buds was always kind of not as dense as they should have been.
Yeah.
So it may not be that serious. I'm about to find out after this next girl if I get Foxtail, man. That shit, it's hard with that heat, man.
Yeah.
I'm about to move though.
You are?
Yeah, I'm trying to move. I'm trying to buy a house and like go to the
Sweet.
next level, man. I'm trying to.
Yeah.
It's 2023. What is it? 2022.
2022, 23 just now.
Oh yeah.
Always got, bro, we've always got to
Yeah.
upgrade out here.
Yeah, we gotta go. We gotta keep stepping it up.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm trying to move on.
Yeah, and like you mentioned there just now, a proper harvest and dry and cure is like super important, and it can even like sometimes help if you like may have had some issues with your grow. It can help you pull back like some final product.
It
There's
does.
actually a post on your IG that I saw you had like some pure Zaz, like looked like gas.
Yes.
Now on that
That's what I'm
post you
talking
mentioned
about.
that I figured so, because like on that post you mentioned all you did was like close the crack in your dry room door,
Yep.
maintain the humidity in the dry room,
Exactly.
and that caused a longer, slow dry of 13 days,
Exactly.
and the end result was fantastic.
Exactly.
So can you just break that down for us a little bit?
So yeah, so before my whole growing, and it started like that because at first the other side of the drying booth was the first original photo booth. The original photo booth was in the closet, and that's when I first grew to OG. And that was the other side of it is the drying room. So at first I used to have my intake, my inline fan, the exhaust fan for the photo booth in the closet on that side go out through the drying room and out through the crack in the door.
Yeah.
So I had that crack in the door forever. I put a screw. I actually screwed it so it wouldn't close all the way because of the kids and shit.
Sense.
And so I had it like that forever. So, and that's how I've been drying. And I was running out of I had been struggling with that. The humidity was always low, so my humidifier ran out very fast. And so the longest dry I was getting, the plants was usually done about 8 days. And I just felt like I was refilling and it was completely fluke as hell. I felt like I was refilling the humidifier too often, like twice a day or so. Like it was just too much. So I'm like, you know what, fuck, I'm about to close this door all the way. And so I took the screw out that was keeping the door from closing, and I closed it, and I filled the humidifier, and it actually lasted for like 3 days that time. And so I'm like, cool. And I think that's what it was. I think the fact that the humidity maintained longer without dropping down and like without those major fluctuations every couple of hours, like I'm having to go in there, open it up, refill it, it's running out of water. So the humidity is dropping from 55 to 20 and like twice a day. And I think that's what it was. I think the fact that I closed the door and it maintained that 55 RH for 3 days straight before I had to refill it and made it less downtime for that. And it stretched out that drying period. Like I said, every day I checked it and it was still moist until that 13th day. And I was like, they ready. And I just knew it. I'm like, they ready. And it came out so much better. And I only did that because I didn't feel like filling up the humidifier that often. It changed the whole game. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, this is the best weed I've ever grown. Like, what the fuck? Like, no, that shit was crazy.
Sometimes like being lazy pays off.
Yeah. I don't know if you know how to do the vacuum sealing. Like I didn't even vacuum seal that weed. I couldn't even bring myself to do it. I tried doing a little bit of it and I didn't even like it. I didn't like how it turned out. Like it's already at that level. And it got that way just from the jar. Because like I said, it was foxtailing before it went into jar. And so it already was imperfect. Like it wasn't even like the best growth, but it came out the best product ever.
Yeah.
That shit is fucking awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty dope. Like, and it's crazy how that you can stumble upon that by accident, right?
That's what happened when we grow and we learn, though. Like,
100%.
Over time, we learn shit like that. That shit crazy. I would have never knew that.
It's all trial and error. And like, I saw your vacuum seal. Like, I know what you're talking about, but like, probably a lot of the viewers may not know what you're talking about. But break it down for them because it increases like smell and stuff, right?
Yeah. So I was doing the vacuum seal. So basically, what I was doing is like for fluffy weed, and this is how I stumbled onto this. So vacuum sealing basically what it did for me was increase the tightness of the buds, basically made them denser, and then increase the smell. Now I got theories on why it increased the smell. A lot of people may talk about it, but a lot of people in my theory as well is that it increased the smell because it's disturbing the bud, and then it breaks inside the vacuum bag. It breaks and then absorbs into the weed. I think that's very true, but it's still way fucking stronger and it smells way better. And I don't have to explain that to somebody that I open the bag and they be like, "Ooh, like yeah." So they gonna want to get it. They gonna want to get that weed from you. So and that's a lot. That's a bag of pill is a major thing in Detroit. So how I stumbled on that was I was actually sending somebody a package and I had a vacuum seal weed for the smell, obviously for the normal reasons. Like, and I only did this one time. Like, it was my one and only time ever doing that, just because I was just looking out for somebody, and so I was curious because I knew I was gonna vacuum seal it. And I'm like, I wonder how it's gonna be when it get to him. And so I took some and I vacuum sealed like an eighth of weed and a vacuum seal just for myself. And like I did it at the same time. And then I sent him his and then I kept mine. And when he told me he got it, I opened it up and I was fucking blown away. I was like, I just did it just because I just wanted to make sure it wasn't trash by the time it got to him. Like, because I would have felt bad. I'm like, fuck, like, let me make sure this shit ain't garbage by the time it get there. I opened that bag up, man. I was with my brother. I was my brother-in-law. I was with a few people, man. When I opened it up, the whole it blew the whole room up. Like, it was like, ooh, like, what is this? Like, no, this not even the same weed I put in here, bro. Like, that shit was good.
You grew that, fam?
Yeah, man. They were so ecstatic. They like, dog. I'm like, I don't know, bro. I'm like, this shit just did that shit. I'm like, vacuum seal, bro. So I started doing that. And it does help. It does help a lot. With bag of pill and like tightness of the bud, and especially when you got bud that's not that tight. Like when you get some fluffy shit and you want to tighten it up, it works really good for that. But it's not to be, like I said, and this is something I just found out. It's not to be in exchange for a better grow, like an overall better rundown in your grow. You could get the same results like that with mastering your craft. Like I said, I had a better dry, and I didn't even want to vacuum seal, and I vacuum sealed some of it, and it wasn't as good to me. Yeah, like it made the smell slightly stronger, but it like another thing that vacuum sealing does is remove the trichomes, kind of, and like it's not that serious, but when I got weed that's already dense as fuck and it's covered in trichomes and it looks beautiful and it's already what I want. Like, it's already what we expect in the bag of pill. Like, it's already that. And I tried vacuum sealing and I lost trichomes. It was just like, it's not working now. Like, it's just I shouldn't even do it now. I'm just gonna leave it how it. And I do got an experiment that I'm gonna drop this month. Ooh, shit! I'm glad I just thought about it because I need to be doing it now because it's gonna take a week. We got that much time.
That's definitely something I'm gonna try. I never tried that before, but it sounds like it'll make sense. And like back in the day, you always get your weed vacuum sealed, like from like kind of
good. It do be still good though. I like breaking down that brick. That'd be nice breaking that brick down. It'd be smelling good. But I am about to try this month. I'm about to try vacuum sealing. I'm gonna try an experiment. I'm gonna do just because of this weed, just because of this better weed I've had. I'm gonna take an eighth of this weed. I'm gonna take an eighth of the blueberry runs each. I'm gonna take one. I'm gonna vacuum seal it, and then I'm gonna vacuum seal it all the way like I usually do. And even though I know how it turned out, I'm gonna do it for the viewers. Yeah. And then I'm gonna take one. And I'm not gonna suck all the air out the bag. I'm gonna do less air, but it's still gonna be sealed. And then I got jars. It's not even over. I can't move on. Fuck the camera. But then I got vacuum sealing jars. Because somebody was like, why don't you try doing it in a jar and see if you get a stronger smell without disturbing the weed and like losing trichomes. So I'm going to try that experiment and I'm going to be posting that video this month.
Yeah, well, I'm definitely interested to see how that turns out. I'll be looking out on your channel for that, bro, for sure.
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
Yeah, for sure. Now, last thing I just wanted to touch on, I think I saw some of your recent posts. Like you had a plant you were planting outdoors. I know you started off outdoors and brought that shit back in, but like I think you started back going outdoors, if I'm not mistaken. I saw like you had like the whole wire set up around the
Yeah,
plants and stuff in the big pots. Like,
yeah.
how has that been going?
Man, that was one of the that was one of my funner grows. It was very, very interesting. It's on Patreon, so I probably can't give away too much, but it had really great ups and really bad downs.
Okay.
And it was a learning experience.
Yeah.
We had a very, very, very bad rainy season this summer. So me
Jeez.
being new, this was my first grow outdoors. So me being new to
Yeah.
outdoors this summer, I had a problem with that. Besides that, that shit was great. I used
Yeah.
my all-time favorite strain, my OG Kush, just because I knew everything about it. I'm comfortable with it. I'm going outside, I'm doing something new, so I felt like I should know the strain at least. And so I went out there with the OG Kush, and man, those were the biggest plants I've ever grown. They were huge, and the
Proper.
buds were huge, dog. Dog, that shit was crazy, bro. I'm talking about buds. It was the size of my fucking head, man. That shit was beautiful. Like, and it was in 15-gallon pots. And it was a really great experience for my first real outdoor grow. And being an indoor grower, I definitely recommend outdoor as well. You know, we get one season, it's definitely worth it. You
Dude.
may have, it's a learning curve from coming inside, but it's so like I love nature. Like I
Yeah.
love nature. I love like you're right. I preach about organic and doing everything organic and naturally. And man, being outside as an organic grower,
Yeah.
it was beautiful. Like it was insects and birds and all type of wildlife and all type of different like little things that you don't get inside that they
True.
actually like like your plant is a part of that ecosystem, is a part of that ecosystem now. So I had a whole army of ants actually removing nutrients from my pots, bro. Like that shit was crazy. They literally was in a marching line, marching up the pot, going into the pot, removing the nutrients and coming back out. And I thought they moved in. They literally only did it for the nutrients. Like they went in, took the nutrients
They're
and left.
robbing your shit, fam.
Yeah, and they took all of it too. That shit was crazy. I'm like, wow. I'm like, they actually took all of it. Like it was gone. Like, cause it leaves these little white specks, and that's what they was taking, like the little
Yeah.
white specks. Like I don't know what that is inside the 484, the 444, but it's these little grain white specks, and that's what they wanted. And the ants moved in, and they took all that shit out of it. It
Wow.
was insane. Like I had
That's crazy.
caterpillars becoming butterflies on it. Like it was awesome, bro. Like that shit was crazy.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Outdoor growing is like a whole different experience, and
Yeah,
like we
it
can
is.
definitely like spend hours talking on
And the
that shit.
plants loved it too. Like the plants know when it's natural and they outside and they home. Like they were happy. Like they
Yeah,
never in the beginning because of the rain and because it was a lot of rain when they were new and they first got transplanted. I had little issues with overwatering because it kept raining, but they adjusted to that shit like that. And
yeah,
they were never. I didn't have a single nutrient deficiency. I didn't have a single issue with the plants themselves. Period. Like they were so happy and vibrant the entire growth up until we started having issues. It was pretty nice. It was a
see,
lot. It was kind of easier than
yeah.
inside.
Yeah, interesting, interesting. Well, guys, if you want to check out his full outdoor grow, check it out on Patreon. We put links down below. Don't miss that.
Appreciate you. Appreciate you.
I got you, fam. I got you, fam. Well, we pretty much touched on everything, bro. We touched on environment, lights, tents, carbon filters,
Yeah,
fabric pots, watering, overwatering, NPK. We've touched on like everything,
yeah, we
you know.
did. It was
So
a decent podcast. It was nice.
yeah, just on time as well, you know. So for all the viewers out there that are watching, like, and they want to get in touch with you, where can they find you?
So you can type in Mr. Goodbuds on any social media. I'm on, even though they deleted my Facebook, man. I got my Facebook deleted, posting weed on there, and
Damn,
that's stupid as hell. I mean,
Zuckerberg.
I got a business IG, I guess, so they won't delete my IG, even though Facebook and IG is the same. I don't
Yeah,
understand
same.
how they had my account linked, but they delete my Facebook, and that shit sucks. So I
Yeah,
got a
that's
new
so fair.
Facebook if you can find it. It's Mr. Goodbuds too, but it's new and it's different.
Well, I'll
But you can
find it. I'll
always,
put a link below for you, bro.
yeah, appreciate that. Yeah, IG is the best place. Discord,
Yeah.
any of them two places, man. Y'all can hit me up.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Like I said, guys, Mr. Goodbuds has got it popping on IG. He's on Discord. He's on YouTube. Be sure to check him out. He's really, really knowledgeable as well. And as you guys can see, he gave us some awesome tips here today. So huge shout out, Mr.
Appreciate you, man.
Goodbuds. Thank you so much for joining us today, fam. I really appreciate it. Taking time out of
Man,
your busy schedule.
I
You know?
appreciate you asking me, man. I love doing stuff like this, and this helps me. Hopefully it helps you out, man, and we work together, help each other, man.
Yeah, man.
Appreciate you.
Most def. And I hope you'll have you back on another time soon.
For sure, man. For sure. I'm
Much respect.
definitely down for it.
Much respect, bro. Well, thanks a lot, man. I'll talk to you soon, yeah?